It's good to see everyone this morning or this afternoon now. Glad that you're here. Why don't we just take a couple of minutes to greet each other and say hello. Find somebody at your table or at the next table that you hadn't seen in a while and make sure that they know that you've missed seeing them.
Am I only invoking?
You are.
I thought I might.
Invoke, pledge, and
I thought I might.
you be doing all of it.
So long as I don't have to sing, we're all in good shape.
Yeah, people, that's an easy part.
Yeah, I know.
I know. You doing okay?
Awesome. Good. It's kind of sputtering and sputtering, but all fun. No complaints.
Well, I wouldn't complain, but it ain't going to get us anywhere.
That's exactly right.
I want, in a couple of weeks or whenever, we're going to start talking about the legacy leadership.
Yeah, and I got some ideas on that.
Good.
So, I got some ideas on that. You're going to be the guy to talk about. Here's kind of the big broad brush. It's really wild. I was walking the parade route, and a good friend of our family's, she is a daughter into confirmation, some Sunday school and mission trips with her. She's married to a guy from West Texas, and I'm sure she's looking at me walking to the crowd. She's looking at her husband, who's in-house counselor at Children's Medical, and I'm sure she's thinking, my husband doesn't have a lot of friends. He doesn't play golf. He doesn't get out and about. Gee, Cleve, would you take him to Rotary sometime? Never crossed my mind. Never thought of it. What an incredible idea. So then I got to thinking. Okay, there's a whole cadre of guys and women in that age range who, if we get the right bell cows, you know what a bell cow is. You've dealt with that in your own background. If you get the right bell cows, you get a half dozen or so bell cows, and then you introduce them to legacy of leadership. I mean,
that's a great thing.
I just think
we just need to talk about it and we'll do that. And we just gotta do something.
Well, that'll start.
Yeah.
Well, we need to get the chief of police. We need to get the city council. Perfect. Well done. That's your key.
Well, get connected to our cities.
And frankly, I am not interested in hearing from anyone.
Tired. Time on my It's only been a month.
Always focus on. Let's focus on not being bored. just came late in the meeting, just met with the guy. I think we may be expanding into Mexico and South America. That's going to be another thing.
It's good seeing everyone today. I'd like to call on Cleve Clinton to come and lead us in our invocation. Cleve.
It's great to see you.
All right, I'll do it again. Cleve Clinton, I'd like for you to come up and lead our invocation. There you are.
That would have been fun.
I know.
Quite the introduction, quite the
Y'all
intro.
stand, please.
Would y'all please stand, and we're fixing to rock and roll. Stand if you are able, I think sometimes I've heard them say. You're not obligated if you, that's not the favorite thing to do. So we're fixing to invoke. I'm looking for prayer concerns, joys, prayer concerns. Yes, Pat?
We just lost a colleague, Zach Crane. I don't know if any of y'all read his work in the magazine, and he passed away this week. Only 50 years old.
Yikes. Spring chicken. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dan with lymphoma in Temple. Don. Did you say Dan or Don? Dan. Got it. And, oh, he's, yes, Tom. Apparently it provided some very great entertainment and not so much the home run derby. Yep, okay, got it. So much for the Rangers this week. Oh, Norm.
My sister, Lydia Summers, has been diagnosed with cancer, and she's just started her treatments yesterday, or day before yesterday now, and I would appreciate your prayers for her as well.
Lydia. Okay, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we especially ask for your presence in and among us, for the healing and the sorrow with the Crane family, with Dan and Lydia as they look for healing, healing opportunities, healing from you, healing from the healthcare providers. So, dear Lord, as we gather today as Rotarians and as Americans, we're reminded of the strength that lies in unity. Coming from different backgrounds, professions, and beliefs, we each stand together as one in our commitment to serve. Yet, for some time, and especially in this last week, we have been reminded of the instability and frailty that emerges from dissonance and discord. We pray not for a collectiveness of mind or a collective singleness of mind or any concession, but for continued and abundant variety in each of our thoughts and words to enable collaborative teamwork, for growth together and for our individual betterment through service above self. Bless us and the leaders of our great state and country to enable us to work harmoniously and the empathy patiently to hear as we seek by your good grace and presence in and among us to understand one another. We pray that in doing these things, you will give us the strength and wisdom, patiently and prayerfully, to overcome the dissonance and discord that we sometimes introduce, so that with your help, we will make a real difference in our own lives, in our families, in our great state of Texas, and in these United States, perhaps knowing that in doing so, we will become blessed to be peacemakers. For it is in the name of the greatest peacemaker we pray. Amen. Okay, I think it's right hand over left heart time, and let's say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once so proudly we hailed
Play ball.
And now it's time for Happy Bucks. I wonder if there's anyone that has something that they want to talk about. That Jeff is right here at the front. Richard's going to bring the microphone around.
I just want to give a happy buck. Warren Wingard, good old friend and frat brother of mine, and a bunch of us here in the club here, and just very, very happy that he's here.
Finally, after 4 years, I am now the precinct chair of East Preston Hollow, and I'm going to start raising money to look to run for office again. And this time I will make a horse race out of it. So
Okay,
thank you
and you're
very
happy
much, and
about
you'll
that,
find
too.
out more soon.
Good deal. Let's give him a hand.
Okay, so actually two things here. I paid extra. So one, on your table you're going to find ground beef bulgogi recipe for Korean barbecue that we made this past Monday night at the Ronald McDonald House. And we had an Asian dinner, and we served 78 meals with this recipe doubled. And it's great. It makes a sauce, and it goes over steamed rice. So you need food for 80, there you go. It's really, it was really good. We really enjoyed it and had a lot of fun. So that's a share. Okay, and the other one I need you to turn into a happy for me. I was in a car accident after the meeting last Friday, and they totaled my car.
Oh.
So I'm okay, I'm perfectly fine. That's not about me, it's only my car, and I haven't broken the news to her yet, but I have, through the magnanimous insurance company that I have until next Wednesday for the rent-a-car to find a new car. So anybody who has connections and knows about getting a car, I haven't done it in a few years. And I'll be glad to talk to you after this meeting, and then you can make me happy.
If you look on, if you look on your table, you'll see what Pat and her amazing crack team of folks over at Park City's People, how they covered our little parade, and I just want to give a big round of thanks to them for all their effort. Thank you so much.
I want to ask you all for your blessings and congratulations. This coming Thursday morning, I'm leaving in the loving arms of a local family to go on the first plane trip I've taken in 7 years to Colorado to see my oldest granddaughter get married. And
all right.
Thank you for your prayer.
Great.
Okay, folks, bad news. Y'all are going to have to do without me for the next 2 weeks,
Tell
if
us no.
possible.
We can't handle that.
Because the Brady Nation, our family, is taking off for cooler climes. We're heading to Boston and New England and Martha's Vineyard. So we'll
right.
be back after that.
Good deal.
Just wanted to give everybody an update on my mom. She had a great checkup with her neurosurgeon this past Wednesday, and he actually cleared her to go to her family reunion in Arkansas this weekend, and so that made her really happy. But I appreciate all the prayers, but she's recovering well. Thank you.
Now we'd like to have introduction of guests. Richard's going to bring the microphone around, and looks like that Herb has someone right here. Where's Herb? Right there? Sorry.
Yeah, please welcome a really good friend of mine, longstanding friend, Rick Carter.
Hello, Rick.
Hi, my name's Ryan. I'm from Austin, Texas. I'm moving up to Dallas, so I'm looking for a new Rotary Club up here.
You found it.
Well, you have found one. Glad to have you today.
My guest is Warren Wingert. We were living in Springfield, Illinois in 1957. We came down here to SMU together, and we've been having an adventure ever since.
Right.
Any others? And while I'm right here, Kirsten Brown is the assistant director for athletics, assistant AD development.
So she
right.
plays a big part on the SMU campus. We'll introduce Rick in a minute.
Good deal. Anyone else? Okay. Greg Pape, would you come up and tell us about the Rotary Foundation and make a presentation or two?
Thank you, President Nolan.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, I'd like to thank this Rotary Club with all the numbers coming in and adding it up on my HP calculator. For the fiscal year of 2023-24, we reached over 38,000 in contributions. Thank you for those who contributed. Thank you. And with it, too, we hit an all-time high of Paul Harris Society members. Those are Rotarians that give each and every year $1,000, and that's 23 fellow Rotarians that are committed to doing that. Thank you. I'd like Kathleen Caviter to come up and Eric Harrison to come up. We have hit an all-time high of $1,115,000 since the inception of the Rotary Club of Park Cities, which was 1948. $1,115,000. And realize, you know, that money is spent. They have a 3-year cycle, money coming in. It's invested for 3 years. Board of Trustees looks and distributes the money according to the 7 areas of interest of the Rotary Foundation. At the end of the 3rd year, that money is deployed. So the principal or the corpus is spent. Just the opposite of the Rotary Club of Park Cities Foundation, where we keep the principal, we keep the corpus, and we fund projects based on the dividends and interest, giving you a little nuanced difference between the two foundations. We're proud to bring you up to date. Eric Harrison has received his first Paul Harris Fellow, and we have his certificate that flew in from Chicago, and the Paul Harris Fellow pin. And Eric, thank you for making that contribution and commitment. Appreciate it. You're welcome. And Kathleen, you've done so much work for this Rotary Club. You joined in 2014. You're a RILA graduate. And we have, and I know you've really worked at this, and I really appreciate you. And Kathleen is a level 2 Rotary International Foundation contributor.
We want to get a picture of these. Huh?
Okay. Super. Yay, Barb.
Good idea. Good, thank you.
Thanks, Kathleen. Thank you, Nolan.
Now, the Marketplace Advertiser, don't know, do we have someone today? Yes, you do. Well, you do. Okay, Mark KASHAR, come on up.
Thank you, Nolan. So on the back of your hub, you will see all of our fantastic advertisers, and we actually have several spots open for the next year. So if you'd like to become an advertiser and sponsor of our club, reach out to Mark NEACE. He's going to be announcing an amazing and awesome upgrade that you can add. And since Mark NEACE of CLEVE Media is our sponsor this week, this is what it might look like.
I'm Mark NEACE, co-founder and CEO of CLEVE Media, a video marketing and consulting firm in Addison, Texas. We create video marketing strategies and content so that businesses can increase awareness, engagement, and revenue. At CLEVE Media, we work well with growth-minded executives across industries who understand that investment in quality video marketing assets is a smart business strategy in today's highly competitive digital world. Great referral partners are business services executives, digital marketing agencies, PR and advertising firms, and SEO website development companies. As a Scouter and Rotarian, I am committed to building business relationships through trust, fairness, and solutions that benefit all stakeholders. So let's connect,
and let me know how I can help you.
Thank you, Mark NEACE. And if you want that and be an advertiser and use that in your business, definitely reach out to Mark NEACE. He's the one who can take care of it for you. Thank you, Mark. Also, on your table, you will find a list of volunteer opportunities for the next year. Ryan, if you're looking for a new club, this is all the awesome things we do for the year. So make sure that you sign up for a lot of these things, whether it's club service or for any of the things that we do, like the July 4th parade. If you have any questions on it, let me know. There will be a link on the website where you can sign up as well.
Good deal. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. And be sure to look over this list. This is a brand new, hot off the presses at my office, actually, hot off that press. That I printed this out front and back. You can see all the different opportunities that you have to serve in this club. And speaking of service, we have someone else to hear from today. Siobhan Abraham, come on up. She is our membership chair, our membership director for our club, and she has done a great job in the past of making sure we have all the right information pretty much every week, all the information that we need to what's going on in our club. But she's stepped up and is going to do even more by helping us in the membership arena. And we need help in that because membership is a very important part of what we do year in and year out. We enjoy being together. It's either relationships or service that bring us together, but sometimes it's both. And so through that, through our relationships, we need to reach out to other people and ask them to be a part of Park Cities Rotary. So with that said, I want to give Siobhan the opportunity to speak to membership and say a few things about what's important to her.
So I would just like to start with, I didn't know anything about Rotary. I did not know anything about Rotary. I did not come into Rotary as a relative or it being part of my family history. And I came into Rotary because my dear friend, Happy Franklin, who I met in Sunday school, invited me to come to some events. We went down to Seagoville and we saw some wild pigs and some wildlife, and she said, why don't you come for lunch? And I came to lunch and there was a wonderful, engaging speaker, and I said, this seems pretty cool. And that's why I joined Rotary. That being said, membership it's always going to be an ongoing endeavor, and it truly is a collective affair. All of us have to be constantly scanning and looking for people of service, people that we know are looking to serve, and to invite them to come to our club, to follow up with them, to invite them to come to our wonderful events. Our leadership, Nolan, Sarah, Mark, the other Mark, they are all out there actively looking for servant leaders in the immediate community, inviting them to come. But I just want to stress that it's something that we all should be doing. Please use our weekly newsletter that I send out. Send that out to people. And then another thing that we can also be doing too are really just increasing our general awareness, letting people know about our club, and we can do that by effectively using our marketing. So we have a wonderful marketing and media campaign, a wonderful resource here with Mark, but one thing that we're going to do is revamp our website, modernize it, and have it with some really great active content that really spotlights and highlights what we are doing, what impact that we are making in our community. Our website is often the very first encounter that people have with our club. Another area that we're looking at is spreading the word through advertising, so with some select advertising. And then for engagement, we have a great team of people that have volunteered to help out. Tom Swift is one of those great people. He's going to be organizing our mentoring program. So as people come into the club, we want to make sure that they are very well connected, engaged from the get-go. Because if we are engaging people, then they're going to want to stay and bring more guests and bring more friends. And that really is just so critical for the community impact and for our future.
Well, Siobhan, thank you so much. Let's give Siobhan a big hand.
One thing before I forget, there's a survey on your table. So take some time, think about it. You don't have to fill it out now. I'm going to be emailing y'all a survey this afternoon. So don't reply all, just reply to me. And I'll take that into account because there's there's a wealth of intellectual capital in this room, people that have been members of other clubs, and we really, really value your input.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Well, it's now time for our raffle. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this, we are doing a raffle that is, well, it's going to the benefit of our RCPC Foundation. And some of you had gotten raffle tickets as you came in. I have just a few right here myself. And I'm going to ask our speaker to pick one of these raffle tickets out of that little bowl right there, and we will announce it, and that lucky person can draw from this stack of cards to see if they get the ace of spades. Okay, we have here is the ticket. The lucky winner is, the last four are 9582. Is that you, Jeff? No. Okay, come on up. Good deal. Kathleen, way to go. This might help with your car somehow. I don't know. So what you just hold them up. Now I'm going to have to shuffle them. Okay, there we go. Oh, you have that as a souvenir of what of today's experience. Here you go, Van. Appreciate that very much. Give her a big hand for participating. Now I'd like to call on Richard Stanford, who's our chair of the day, to introduce our speaker.
Rick Hart is a third-generation administrator of athletics. He came to SMU 12 years ago. A lot of us in here are SMU alumni, and we know what has happened. We know what has happened in between. We know what's about to happen in Ford Stadium with all the new things. We know what's we're about. He's going to be talking about the Atlantic Coast Conference, but we ended the American Athletic Conference on top. And you know, there've been a succession of really good coaching staffs in football and other sports. But and thank you, Kirsten, too, because the donor base is strong for SMU athletics. I mean, and so things have just really been really good. You know, we would not have guessed 12 years ago that we would be here today, and that's the work of Gerald Turner and Rick and people like David Miller, who are alumni. And the thing that we don't know, that, and I don't want to take into your time, but the one thing we don't watch is how many other athletic endeavors SMU has that are really successful. An AD has a whole bunch of different sports programs they deal with. Not only are we premier in several of those, but have also built all these wonderful new facilities for a lot of those on the campus, adjacent to the campus. What's happened around SMU for the other sports is really pretty spectacular. And the last thing I would say, and let the real speaker speak, but what people don't understand about ADs is part of it is setting a culture. You know, some of the big programs take in players, chew them up, spit them out. You know, SMU looks to their well-being. It also looks to help them. It puts the student in student-athlete, and to where the GPAs of the SMU athletes are really very high. And finally, with programs like Lab, they, in ways some of the even bigger programs don't, they look to the future of our athletes when they get out in the community. And so transitioning them, unlike some of the bigger programs, unlike what the NFL does, they're just not spit out and broke in 5 years. you want to integrate them into the community. That's the real heart of being an AD as far as I'm concerned, and you've done a wonderful job with that. So that said, welcome Rick Hart.
I was just going to let Richard keep going. I mean, any questions? That was great. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate you having me. I'm glad that we're still circulating that picture that's from 2012. If only I could be that young again. But it's great to be here. As Richard said, I'm going to take one moment just to kind of share a little bit maybe and expand on some of the things he touched about our program and some of the momentum and success we've had, and then certainly look to the future about what's to come in the ACC. And what I want to do is maybe take 10 or so minutes to do that, and then if you have questions or topics that you're interested in, I'd love to have a conversation and spend time where you find that to be most meaningful. But I do know many of you from interacting with you have a relationship with the university. You're an alum. Perhaps you've been affiliated as a parent, or you have someone in your household who is affiliated with SMU. But I'll start by saying whether you're a Mustang or not, doesn't matter to us. We're all here in Park Cities. We're all here in Dallas. And if you care about the community, I think the stronger the university is and the better the athletics program, I think that's a symbiotic relationship, and it really helps shine a light on all the great people and programs here in our area. So we invite you. We want you to be involved. The Life After Ball program, lab that Richard talked about, I think is a differentiator for us. I'm an SMU parent. My son graduated from the Cox and Simmons schools in 2022. He now is in Chicago. He's working at Northwestern University, and he's in graduate school there. Our daughter will be a senior at SMU this coming year. So we have a love for SMU that extends beyond my role as the athletics director and as a parent. It makes me proud when we recruit, even going back to before my kids were students. We meet with families and prospective student athletes. And the one thing that, we wanted to assure them, we talk about our student athletes as sons and daughters because we understand the responsibility we have, to Richard's point, that they're entrusting us with their son, their daughter, their granddaughter, their nephew, whatever it is. And it's a great responsibility. And we want to make sure that we not only teach them the athletic skill sets that some of them will use beyond college, although not most. We want them to get, obviously, a quality education, which SMU can provide, and a degree that's going to help them be a great and valuable member of their community. But we also want to help them understand, find their passion, differentiate themselves in a competitive work environment, and that's what our Life After Ball program does. It introduces them to career paths, and then once they've identified those career paths, mentors, internship opportunities, et cetera, so that when they graduate, they're well positioned for the 40-year decision, as they say, and not the 4-year decision. And so I did want to touch on that. We have 17 sports, 6 men, 11 women teams, and we really do strive for comprehensive excellence. Our GPAs, our graduation rates, again, are competitive. You're talking about the upper, probably 5th percentile in the country. That's important to us. It's critical. But also, we want to win. We're the athletics department. We like to compete. We're competitive people. They keep score. And so we want to make sure that all 17 sports are positioned to do that. I'm proud that in the last decade, all but one of our sports has won a conference championship. They've all participated in postseason play. And this past year, we had a school record 8 championships. Richard referenced going out on top of the American, 8 championships. We had 4 other programs that didn't win the championship. They finished second, so they were right there fighting for it and knocking on the door. So 12 of our 17 sports won championships, including a national championship in the sport of equestrian. And I could go through 10 coaching staffs of the year and all the rest. So we have great momentum. We have incredible excitement. Richard mentioned individuals like David Miller, who's our board chair. He's also an alum. He played basketball. My friend Donnie Berg here has been critical as well in that relationship and the support he's offered on this march to the ACC and his relationship with David and others. But we got an incredible president and board, and there's great alignment. And the only way you get to have the opportunity to join a conference like the ACC is that the leadership is aligned around the vision and what it takes to pursue that vision. And so I get to stand up here as the athletics director and, you know, kind of symbolically, I guess, represent this moment. But there were a lot of little things and big things that occurred between really 37 years ago and today that led us to this moment. And that's what's really cool and powerful about the opportunity that we have in front of us. It's been well said and documented. This is not an athletics moment. Again, we'll be the ones leading the charge publicly. We'll be the ones kind of out front trying to bring the attention to the university and our programs and our people to celebrate that. But this is an institutional moment for SMU. It's a really big deal for the university from a prestige, reputation perspective, research, retention and recruitment of faculty and staff, just as it is for athletics. And then again, we think this moment extends to the community, to the Park Cities and to Dallas as well. There's going to be an incredibly bright light that's going to shine on all of us, brighter than ever, when we take the fields and the courts and hit the pool this coming year. So we've been preparing since September 1st when we got the invitation. Again, you mentioned facilities. We have championship caliber facilities. There were a lot of things done in advance of this opportunity. Gary Weber, in particular, prior to this happening, really made a splash when he gave $50 million in support of the Gary Weber End Zone Complex, which we'll move into here in a couple weeks. Looks incredible. When I left today, they had put Gerald J. Ford's name on the scoreboard, and they're putting seats in the stands. So it's real, and it's here, and it's upon us. And we got to celebrate 2 weeks ago on July 1st, our formal introduction into the ACC. We had a big party at Happiest Hour with all of the Park Cities and all of Dallas, and we're hard at work to make this moment what it deserves when that occurs. Last thing I'll say before I open it up, and by the way, if you don't have questions or things you want to hear about specifically, I can talk about this all day. I love what I do. I'm blessed to be able to do it, and we got a good thing going at SMU. But I would just say to you, you know, again, the donors, the donor base, the leadership, they've done their part to get us where we are right now, and to make this moment possible and to give us a chance to compete now that we're here. You know, our staff and our coaches are hard at work building championship caliber rosters, getting ready for sold out crowds and game day experiences at Moody and at Ford. Many of our fans in the community has already stepped forward. We've sold more season tickets than in the history of SMU football, at least the modern era in Ford Stadium. We got an incredible schedule as we do that. And again, the idea is to sell out Ford, sell out Moody, because from a community perspective, you know, people are going to be looking when these games start on national television, and our first ACC game is against Florida State. So we've got the reigning ACC champion and the reigning AAC champion here at Ford Stadium. And they're going to be trying to figure out, what's SMU all about? What is this when I hear about University Park, Highland Park, Dallas? You know, do they look the part? Are they ready for the moment? Do they belong, or did they buy their way into this thing, right? Which is what some people think. We can talk about that if you want. And so what we're asking is, one, if you've already purchased a season ticket, thank you. Big deal. If you haven't, I'd ask you consider it. If you can buy season tickets. If we sell out the stadium and it's full when the team takes the field, then we'll get the gold star. You know, everybody will say, wow, I didn't know. I was wrong. SMU. Glad they're in the ACC. And actually, I'm not, because they're getting ready to come. They're a threat. They're a threat to the other members competitively. If you've bought a season ticket, or if you buy one and you can't come to all the games, or you're not as interested, We've got programs. We have a veterans program, Seats for Soldiers. We can get them in some people's hands. If you've already purchased tickets, I'd ask you to invite somebody to come with you. Introduce us to somebody new who doesn't know about SMU and who may want to hang out, whether they just like college football or it's the entertainment piece or they just want to help the community. And the last thing, we got plenty of opportunities to give. I won't get into that, I know. But we do, and Kirsten's here, as was mentioned, and she'd be happy to talk to you about that. So with that, I'm just going to pause and ask if there are topics or. And I will take the. Okay, you're going to take the mic. Okay. I'm loud. I speak loudly anyway. Probably need to back up here.
Two questions. As an alumni, it's always important to me to know how do we rank of Division I schools, especially in now premier conferences where their athletes actually graduate, and I saw some stats here in your bio, but also how has now going into the ACC, how is that affecting the recruiting, and can you speak at all to the swim team? Because swim was what I really have an interest in, so the swim team and how we're going to do.
You know, specific to graduation rate, I think we're at 91 or 2%, and trending up. Really, I mean, we've been on a steady march. I think when I got here, we were respectable in the mid to low 80s. We had a goal to get over 90%. The great thing one of the things we absolutely love about the ACC is we think there's great alignment in terms of the missions of the institutions and the importance or the priority given to, again, being strong academically as well as athletically. And so we have a lot of like-minded institutions, both private and public. And so I'd tell you that it's respectable. We're not at the top of that group. You know, there's some others who are 95 plus, and we're looking to get there. But we look the part, and we're proud of it. It's definitely a leader in terms of college athletics and even the power conference members. Swimming and diving programs. You know, the Robson Lindley Aquatic Center was one of the facilities that was referenced generally and broadly. That's just incredible. And then we added the Holt Hickman Outdoor Pool this past summer. And so we're the only college swim complex with 50-meter pools, indoor and out there, adjacent in the country. So again, and the reason, you know, facilities are important for a lot of reasons. It's where our teams train to compete and prepare and so on. But they're a visible, tangible sign of commitment. That's how a lot of prospects and recruits and coaches, when you're trying to hire the best coaches, look at. Are you committed? Do you want to compete at the highest level nationally? And the facility says we absolutely do. The men's program this past year, we had one of our best years in decades. We have, as you know, tremendous tradition and history with Olympians and national conference champions, and we're getting back to that. Recruiting in all sports has just taken off with the ACC. You know, if you think about it, if you're an elite athlete, if you're trying to be elite or you desire to be elite at whatever it is you do, whatever it is you're passionate about, you want to compete against the best. You want to test yourself against the best. And the only thing in the 12 years I've been the athletics director at SMU that we haven't had to really attract as many of those individuals as we wanted is they could always come back and say, man, I love everything. Dallas, SMU, athletics, people, leadership, education, job opportunities, alumni network. But I want to compete against Clemson and Florida State and North Carolina and Duke and Cal and Stanford. And now we don't have that anymore. And the response from the community, the recruits, the families has just been off the charts. Yeah.
Thanks for being here. I'm a huge college sports fan and supporter. Got several topics. I guess the one I'm going to land on as an old-time and college fan, I'm really kind of dismayed by NIL. And you were just talking about recruiting.
Yeah.
I think recruiting has become, and I'm talking primarily football, but it's really going to all sports now. But I just think recruiting means almost nothing anymore. And, you know, I would just call an example. I'm an OU alum. We had Caleb Williams for 1 year.
Yeah.
And then the guy, so anyway, I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and you came in from Chicago, is that right? Or did I mess that up? No, sorry about that. So I've spent 7 years at OU. It was one of my stops. So Boomer Sooner, I mean, you know, we don't play them this year. The NIL, that's a complicated subject, but what I'd say is this: it's not going away. So, you know, we can't really bang our head against the wall in terms of wishing things were different. So what we've chosen to, the way we've approached it, and the way we're going to continue to approach it is one of the, you know, the buckets that student athletes and families are looking to have access to. And the way we've approached it from a recruiting perspective is, if it's the most important or the only bucket you care about, then this probably isn't going to be a good fit for you. And there have absolutely been moments and decisions that have been made where somebody can help us win games, at least based on their ability, and we've just said this probably isn't the best thing. Now I say based on their ability because you got to protect your culture. Richard talked about culture and how important it is. And so the approach we've taken is, it's part of the deal. We get that. But we want you to be at SMU and be excited about the opportunity here because of all the other things also. And we want you to understand that the other part of it is important and is an expectation too. And I think as a result of that, what we talked about with our coaches, and we still do, if you have a great culture and the student athletes in our programs are having a great experience and they feel like they're cared for and they're growing as people and they're growing intellectually and you're helping them develop a pipeline for their future, right? You're going to lose some people to NIL but not a lot, and probably not the ones you care most about. And if I'm being honest, that's played out. We have benefited far more from the transfer portal and NIL than not. But I think it's because that's our approach. And again, I'll go back to the word alignment. Our head coaches, the leadership, myself, we're all aligned around who we are, what we want our culture to be. We don't view having a strong culture, having a strong commitment to academics and having a strong commitment to competing for championships as mutually exclusive endeavors, and we want to attract and retain individuals who share that same philosophy. And so that's how we do it. You don't bat 1,000, you know, it's an imperfect process and so on, but that's the way we approach it, and I think you got to embrace it. It's like anything, because it's here, and if you don't embrace it and find a way to have it work within who you are and your structure, then you're going to be left behind. Mr. Berg?
Rick, thank you. Thank you for being here. Well, I think we got 3 really good quarterbacks coming for open. What is it, about a month away now? Opening game?
We report Tuesday, and our first practice is Wednesday.
And when's our first game?
The 24th. So you're about right. It's a little over a month.
A little over a month.
Yes, sir.
Who's going to be the starting quarterback?
I'm going to call Rhett. So we go to media days Monday in Charlotte. So football kickoff, media days is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Charlotte. SMU goes on Monday along with Florida State and I believe Wake Forest, because the 3 of us play a week 0 game, which means we play a game earlier. So our first game is August 24th. And so they're reporting early like we are. The ACC asked each school to bring their starting quarterback and 2 other players. We're taking 2 players and 2 quarterbacks. So Kevin's going and Preston's going. And, you know, going back to the NIL comment, it's really, really hard, and we do have 3, but it's really, really hard to keep 2 elite quarterbacks on your roster, particularly when, in our case, both of them have demonstrated on the field, in games, in pressure situations, that they can do it, that they can get it done. Usually you got a guy who's, you know, And so credit to Kevin Jennings, who's been the backup to date. Kevin's deal going into this year, because he could have gone somewhere else for more NIL. Absolutely, he could have. He could have gone somewhere else and been promised a starting position. Absolutely, he could have. Kevin's from Dallas. Kevin understands the value of an SMU degree. Kevin understands life after ball and the alumni network he has access to as a graduate of SMU. And so what he did is he went to Coach Lashley and he said, I want to stay here and I want to graduate from SMU. But what I'm asking from you is one thing. I want to know that you're going to let me compete for the starting job. And as long as you're going to allow me to compete for the starting job, then I'm in. I'm not afraid of that. But if you tell me no way, then boy, I gotta rethink this. And so we got 2 quarterbacks. We don't have a starter right now. We really don't. Preston obviously is the incumbent, so he's probably got an edge going into fall camp. But it's a great situation to be in.
Okay, one more quick question. You know, I played basketball, and I understand Andy Enfield lost every single player he had on the roster last year. Every single one. Do you have any insight on the recruits that are be coming into SMU basketball?
Yeah, so I believe there are 3, just to slightly clear the record on that. I believe there are 3 scholarship returners from last year who had eligibility remaining. Obviously, we had some student athletes who were no longer eligible to play. B.J. Edwards, guard, Keon Ambrose Hilton, a big, and Chuck Harris, a guard. And then we have 2 walk-ons who came back. So, but 3 scholarship players, to your point. I'm still getting to know. It's not unique to basketball. I'm still getting to know the guys, so I can't talk in great detail about the rest of them. But 2 freshmen. So we brought 2 freshmen in who were already committed to SMU. Okay, so that's 5 of the 13 scholarship players, and then we got 8 new guys. We got 6 who are here, a 7th who's on his way, and an 8th who has a scholarship agreement in front of him right now. So it'll be a different look and feel. When you have coaching transitions, not just in men's basketball, we had the same thing in rowing and other sports. You do tend to have more attrition from the roster for various reasons. So that is a little bit of an exception to what I alluded to earlier about how it hasn't impacted us as much. And I don't anticipate that'll be an every year thing. But we're excited, Donnie. You know, I trust Coach Enfield and his staff and the evaluation they did on these guys and the fit. Again, I know they were really focused on culture. I can tell you there were some guys that were interested in coming and they just felt like they weren't going to be good in the locker room, or they weren't going to really help. Because now you got to build cohesion with a bunch of guys who've never played together and are getting to know one another, and a brand new coaching staff and all the rest. So I expect Moody Coliseum to be sold out. Right now we're in the renewal process with men's basketball. I know we haven't talked about basketball tickets yet. I'll touch on it. So that means everybody who was a season ticket holder last year, they have until the end of the month to raise their hand to say they want to renew their season tickets. Then we'll go from there. We have a group of people who put a deposit down on new tickets. So when the deadline passes, we'll go to those individuals to get them taken care of. And then if there's season tickets remaining, which I think there will be some, then we'll open it up to Mustang Club donors. And then I don't think that we'll get past that, but if we do, we'll open it up to the public. We're gonna sell out at Moody again. Moody Magic's back. I mean, the schedules. You know, I walked in there. I'll keep it brief so we can get to another question. I walked in there though. I walked through the gym a few weeks ago, and first time I saw it, we had put up the logos of all the ACC schools in Moody. And I know all this. I've been living it. It's my life. But there was something about looking up there and going, I got chill bumps again because it happened to me at the time. Stanford, North Carolina, NC State, Duke, Wake Forest, Virginia, Miami, Notre Dame, Stanford, Cal. I mean, you know, I could keep going. Wow. Yeah, I'm speechless. Okay, still. Jeff gets the last question.
Okay, last question. Rick, thanks for being here. You're a great cheerleader. Hey, I'm an Aggie, and I'm excited about SMU football. So you're doing a great job. What about media exposure? Are we going to see SMU on national television on a regular basis? Do you know which games might have that kind of footprint? What does it mean for SMU to have that kind of exposure? Is there any way to quantify it? And I've heard you've built some kind of a big media complex or studio there in Ford.
Pretty informed question. Okay. Yeah. First of all, as I said before, just come on. We don't care that you're an Aggie. Get your tickets. Get your tickets and show up. Media exposure is going to be big. We will quantify it. You know, after it occurs, you know, we'll put a number on it, and you can debate that, but there's a way to do it. In fact, I think on July 1, the week of July 1st, when we formally joined the ACC and all the media coverage around that, it was live on the ACC network. There were local, regional, national media covering everything. I think it was, I saw the numbers, $44 million of market value, if you will. Huge. ESPN is the media partner. So it'll be ESPN's network and family. And again, the ratings, just by virtue of who you're playing, are going to double, triple, quadruple. So the ability to tell our story and introduce people to SMU across the country is just unmatched. We've never had anything like it before. The broadcast studio is a big deal. All the ACC schools and most of the power conference schools have something like this, particularly if you have a network, the ACC network. So basically, we will be producing and broadcasting all of the events, including those that you'll see on ESPN. So we had to build this massive studio. Ours, because it's the newest and the latest, is the apple of the eye of everybody in the ACC. It's state-of-the-art in terms of the equipment, the capabilities. There are other things that we'll utilize it for to tell SMU's story and to promote the university and the community. And lastly, from a student perspective, it gives us now an opportunity to partner with the journalism school and some of the other schools on the campus to say, as a student, the experiential learning that we can offer. Like you can help Aaron produce ACC, ESPN telecasts. So it's a big deal. Again, it's a win-win for everybody. There's an educational thing to it. So I just want to thank everybody again for all that you do and the fact that you're involved in the community, that you dedicate your time to the Rotary and to making sure that where we live is taken care of and that it remains a special place. Allison and I have really just enjoyed the last 12 years and look forward to many more here in the Park City. So thanks so much, and as we say, pony up.
Okay, get a picture. Here we go. Here we are. You bet. I just want you to know that a book is going to be given to the Jack Lowe Elementary School, if I'm getting that right, senior, in your honor for speaking with us today. And thank you for coming. We really enjoyed hearing about all that's going on at SMU.
Thank you.
Appreciate you very much.
Sir.
Thank you. And as we conclude, Morgan Hare is going to come up and lead us in the four-way test. Let's stand and look forward to hearing from you. One last thing before I give you the mic. I forgot to mention, next week, Ashley Brundage with Habitat for Humanity will be coming to speak to us, and Nate will be our chair of the day. Look forward to that. Now.
Okay, I needed my glasses because the print is small. So if you'll all join me in the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will build goodwill and better friendships. And fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned.
You want to ring the bell?
Oh, this?
This here.
Oh.
Just bang it. There we go. We're done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.